Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're reading the Shoto Reader by Colorful Hair Girl 123 on Wattpad. So let's get into it. It was storming, and of course, somehow it knocked down the lights. You had been hugging your knees, crying for about 10 minutes. The darkness was the only thing that scared you. You weren't afraid of dying, but were afraid of that, somehow. You were thinking that the dorms would have a backup power box or something for when this stuff happens. You cursed the school and your parents for not having some type of fire or lightning quirk. So then maybe you could have a quirk that could help you through this type of things. But you remembered that someone in your class has a fire quirk. Actually, it was your crush. But he's probably sleeping, you told yourself. It was 2 in the morning. He's probably fast asleep, but maybe you could go check, you told yourself. You wrapped your blanket around you and started walking down the hallway to his door. You stood in front of it, debating if you should actually peek inside. You and Shoto were kinda close, but were you guys honestly this close? That he wouldn't get mad or even find it weird? That you were gonna check if he was awake or not? You had no idea, but you slowly and quietly checked if his door was locked. It wasn't until you slowly opened it to see a sleeping Shoto. You sighed quietly to yourself. What were you gonna do now? You couldn't wake him up, but you were scared to go back to your room and lay there when there was no power. So you decided to do something crazy and stupid. You entered his room as quiet as you could to make sure not to wake him up, and closed his door, and walked over to his sleeping body. You stared at him for a moment. You knew this was stupid, and you did not know what he would do if he woke up, or what you were going to do in the morning, but you were scared and you did not see another choice. So you laid down beside him, trying not to wake him up. Luckily, he stayed asleep as you got comfy, and the warmth of his body put you to sleep. It was still dark in his room, but at least you were less afraid as you fell asleep. Once morning came and the light hit Shoto's face, he moved around when he felt something beside him. He quickly sat up, and what did he find? He found Yan fast asleep. She seemed peaceful, but Shoto was confused on how or when Yan even got there. He didn't want to wake her up. It was the weekend, so there wasn't any class today, so he decided to just get up and get dressed. Once he was dressed, he looked back at Yan's sleeping body, still kinda confused, but he would ask her why once she got up. For now, he left the room and went out to the dorm's living room, and was met with Ida and Doria, who were going over some work from class the other day. When they both noticed Shoto, they greeted him, which he greeted them back with a yawn. "You're tired, Shoto-kun? It's still kinda early. Why don't you go back to your room and sleep?" Midora suggested. "No, I'm fine," Shoto sat sitting on the couch as he listened to Ida finish talking about the work. After a while, you started to wake up, and for a second, you forgot where you were. Till it hit you. You slowly looked back behind you to see that Shoto wasn't there. Shit, you thought. He woke up before you now. Now you're gonna have to explain yourself to him. You sat there for what felt like forever trying to figure out what you were gonna tell him. You were sure he probably thought you were weird now. You were embarrassed, but you knew you had to face him sooner or later. Or maybe you could go to your room quickly before he saw you. You quickly got up and grabbed your blanket and opened his door. And you went to run, but guess who was there? Ina and Kaminari, the class gossipers. Their eyes went back, and you knew you had to run before they started their chat. You went to run as you did, but you heard Mina and Kaminari yell, Guys! Shoto and Yan slept together last night." She just came out of Shoto's room. Trying to ignore them and the others you were passing by while running, you were almost to your room when no one other than Bakugo grabbed your arm, before you could make it inside. "Oh, you and Shoto are getting clever now." He smirked as he tried to pull away, but his grip was strong, and by this time, Kaminari and Mina were by you guys now. Let me go, Bakugo. You won as you heard Ida's voice start telling about rules and all that stuff. No. You're coming with me and we're gonna go talk to Shoto and get that story straight. He said as he pulled you and Mina pushed you, and in no time you were met with Shoto and Midoriya and Ida. Your face was as red as soon as you met Shoto's glance. Wanna explain? Bakugo said, pushing you towards Shoto, but you caught yourself before you fell beside him. You quickly backed away and tried to get away, but Kaminari and Mina were blocking your way of leaving. Yes, I wanna hear why you think it's okay for a girl to go into a boy's dorm room. Ida said, standing up, staring at you. You saw as you made one more try at getting things through to Kaminari and Mina, but you knew it was no use. You knew you had to face them, even if you didn't wanna. You slowly faced the boys who were now staring at you. You tried not to look at Shoto, deciding you would just answer Ida. It isn't. I don't know what I was thinking. You said to Ida, who just sighed. Well, don't do it again. You said before sitting down. But that wasn't what everyone else wanted to hear, so of course Bakugo had to say something. What were you guys doing last night? He said, getting closer to you. Did you finally do it? He said with a smirk. He knew he was embarrassing you. He looked away to the corner of the room. No, Bakugo, it wasn't like that. Nothing like that. And in that moment, Bakugo grabbed your face with one of his hands, making you look back at him. Oh, so it was that bad you don't even want to talk about it? Bakugo was now so close to your face that the room was silent, until you felt Bakugo's hand get ripped away from your face. And when you looked over to see who had done it, it was Shoto. He looked kinda pissed, but he was still trying to stay calm. Let her go, Bakugo. Shoto said, giving Bakugo a glare, before he grabbed your arm and pulled you away from everyone and back to his room. Once the door closed, Shoto was staring at you. So, you gonna tell me why you came into my room? He said calmly. Well, you mumbled, trying not to look at him. You knew you had to come clean, even though the reason was embarrassing. Well, you see, you mumbled once again. I was scared of the dark. The lights went out and I came in here because you know you had a firework. But you were sleeping and I didn't want to wake you up, but I didn't want to go back all alone. So I kinda just slept here. Sorry. He kinda yelled at the end, as he looked at Shoto, who looked like he was taking it all in. It was quiet for a moment. He wasn't saying anything. Well, I'm sorry I ended up making this into a big misunderstanding with everyone. I'll just go now. He mumbled, getting ready to walk out of his room. But before you could, he stopped you. You could have just woken me up. I would have understood. He gave you a small smile, and he felt your face start heating up again. I didn't want to wake you up. He mumbled. He laughed slightly as he pulled you into a hug and kissed your forehead. You're my friend. I'm here to help.